Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh. I've got my co-host, Loremaster Denim.
Howdy, howdy.
And Steve. He's lost in a swamp, but it's not even his swamp, because he lost it in a trial of possession.
I may have lost the swamp, but I won this boulder, and it's a nice boulder.
And we are the Mechbay Podcast, your number one source for all things casual to competitive tabletop Battletech. And today's episode is sponsored by Mechwarrior Kyle Nelson and Cadet William Davis. So keep on rocking, boys. All right, I feel like we were just here, just talking about playtest stuff. Are we here again?
Third time's a charm, right?
Ugh. Battletech news. Playtest Part 3 is out. And they doubled up. We have gear and we have battlefield support aerospace assets. That's a lot. I wasn't expecting a double issue.
I was surprised at how detailed the aerospace stuff is. It's like 20-some pages. That's going to require a lot of review and probably its own episode.
Yeah, it comes with its own cards. It comes with it's just a rule packet. So it's not like a rules update. It's here is the new BSP aerospace rules. These don't work right out of the box with the other ones. It's a whole new way of looking at it. It's like this is a rule book that we would publish.
Honestly, I get the vibe that it's almost like the Clan Invasion primer box, right? Where you have like a short version of the rules on how to use battle armor and everything else. It feels kind of like that. It's this little packet that you can run just by itself, you know?
And they do stress that this is not a replacement for like the Total Warfare aerospace rules. This is a BSP level just filled out and more stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to open up that document for like a couple weeks because I got way too much on my plate already. I'm still racking my head around the last playtest, so I can't deal with that. We're going to deal with that later. But I am going to enjoy that gear, at least for the time being.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We will talk about that in a minute. In other Battletech news, Outfoxed is out.
Brian Young, back at it again.
For all you people who like Fox Patrol, it's super good.
Have you started it, Denim? I just got my copy. I haven't.
No, I've started it. I'm like 20 pages in, so I'm not super far in. But if you like Fox Patrol, it is more Fox Patrol, and it is a full novel instead of just short stories.
I know Brian was talking in the Discord that he's very excited to have this in a novel form because it gave him more runway to work with these characters. So he was very excited. I've heard good things of the people that have already read it. It's been like 3 days. I mean, I would... You people are crazy sometimes. I'd love a chance to sit down and read these before you all get your hands on them. But no, I'm excited to read this.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't think of anything else for Battletech news except maybe that Steve got a shout out on Tuesday Newsday with Rim.
I did. That was a surprise. They had Keith Hahn and Aron Kahal on Tuesday Newsday with Rem, and they were talking about some of the new aerospace stuff. And Aron was kind enough to give me a shout out from the Battle in the Bay, where I used my Visigoth plane to remind myself that we had BSP strikes for the event. And he mentioned that I had done so. And he was talking about how with these new rules, people will have a reason to use their planes they got in both Kickstarters, right? Rather than just using them as set pieces. So that was nice. Thank you, Aron.
I can't think of anything else, folks. Should we move on to hobby progress?
Let's do it.
All right. The only thing I've done since the last episode is I have base coated all of the Nova Cats that I'm taking to the Southern Assault Alpha Strike tournament. They're, blackish blue. So the base coat is on, and they've been glued to their bases, and their accoutrements and little finagly crystals have been attached to their bases.
How many more do you need to paint for Southern Assault? I know you had a pretty good stock of them last time.
Oh, I got to paint 3 mechs, 2 battle armor, and 5 other.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The other worries me.
The other does worry me too. I don't know how I'm going to do those.
Oh no, Josh.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either.
What symbols are you going to use? You've already used all sorts of different runes. Are you coming up with new?
I'm going to have to come up with all new runes because that's the whole point. Is they all have to have unique runes. So it's kind of like brain. It's honestly, but the hardest part about starting it is each one is its own custom, unique thing. Like I can't batch paint these guys at all. So it's like, ugh. Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, you kind of brought that upon yourself, but
yeah,
it looked really cool when it's done.
The problem is, and I need to put this out there, I have lost every single game of Classic that I have used these Nova Cats in. Like, at all. And I was like, fine.
Good thing you're bringing them to an Alpha Strike tournament then.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Clarification. Non-tournament. When I took them to Warzone Atlanta, they went, I think, 5-6. And I was like, that's pretty good. But in casual games, no. They are a tournament-only army. So for some reason, I didn't put this on them. They put it on me. So I'm like, I'm tired of losing. I'm taking them this year so I can win again.
Well, hopefully it works out. I'm excited to see them. I can't wait to see your new runes because those old ones looked pretty cool.
I can't either. Steve, what have you been up to painting wise?
I have finished paint. Well, I say finished painting. I just need to do basing now for my Southern Assault faction. And
Goliath Scorpions, is it?
So no. I've finished a new faction. And Josh, you seemed pretty convinced the last time we talked that you'd figured out who I was bringing.
I feel like I've had this in my brain for a while.
Who do you think?
It's Seafox's... Yeah, it's... Or Clan Protectorate, like halfway there.
Uh-huh. What would you say if I told you that I was painting Raven Alliance Alpha Galaxy?
I'd say you're a basic B, and then...
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look, okay, I've got purple birds, I've got jade falcons, and now I have white birds. It's great. I have all the bird factions. I just need to capture all the birds. So I've gone with another bird faction, and I'm really excited. I think they look pretty good. I can post some pictures on the Discord when the episode drops, and you can tell me whether or not I'm, whether I did okay. I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out. White was a huge pain in the butt, and trying to get that ivory done correctly was a real pain. But I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out.
Dude, I look forward to seeing these.
I'm a little disappointed because you had just started painting up your Canopians, and so you're you love those for 30 seconds and then drop those.
I ran out of time. I was trying to get those done.
Oh, so painting an entire another faction is easier.
I had known I was always going to do Snow Raven for Southern Assault because my list is all birds. It's like kingfishers, white ravens, shadowhawks, storm crows, carrion crows, war crows, all crows and birds, all sorts of avian creatures. That's the entirety of the list. So I knew I wanted to do that, but I needed to buy myself enough time that I could feel like I could do a decent job. And I started, you were asking a lot of questions, Josh. And I'm like, ooh, he's asking a lot of questions. I'm doing Canopans. It was all a false flag.
I'm more disappointed that it's hey, Josh is a professional paint white player and Raven Alliance player. I'm not going to ask him a single question. I'm a sufferer in my own,
I had to do it.
So how does the white look?
I think it looks pretty good, actually.
Does it look as good as my white Ravens?
I don't know. I'd have to look at your white Ravens.
I don't have white Ravens. That's the trick question.
Oh, yours were blue-gray. That was kind of like white.
Yeah. And then I decided, no, the white ones don't look good. I painted, I did my white Raven in white Pink's test scheme. I didn't like it, so I went with a light baby blue with a heavy dry brushing. I was like, that looks better.
I tried to go for a warmer. I wanted a warmer white, so I tried to do more like an ivory.
Mm-hmm. Did you freehand the feathers on?
I did. I freehanded the feathers. I did not freehand the logos. I did decals for the stickers. Now, what I did do that I was pretty pleased with is all of the mechs that existed in the Clan Invasion got Snow Raven decals, and all the mechs that had Dark Age and later, so the War Crow and the Dark Crow and stuff like that, those got Raven Alliance decals. So they're
not matching. That's -5 points on the painting rubric. I need you to.
Holy crap!
We'll find out. I don't know.
you just listed off a bunch of crows, and a group of crows is a murder, and you're playing Raven Alliance, and a group of ravens is a conspiracy. You just made a murder conspiracy.
Conspiracy to commit murder.
The lawyer himself coming in. That's got to be worth some extra points. That's clever. I like that.
We'll find out.
My final comment I will say is, so when I beat you / tied you at Adepticon with Ravens, you just were like, I really liked Josh's Ravens that bad.
No, I mean, I did think your paint job at Adepticon was very good. Your Protomechs were not. I was glad I hit them with that bomb. That was probably the biggest thing that helped me in that game. Otherwise, I would have been murdered pretty soundly.
But ever since then, you've just, man, I really wish I had Josh's Ravens.
No, I needed more birds. I needed more birds in my life. I really didn't have a choice. So, but I'm pleased. I think they look good, and I'll get some pictures out there pretty soon.
Denim, what have you been up to?
I have been taking my Gothic box set mechs and painting them up Solaris style, because that's how I'll normally be using them, is to play Solaris.
That feels a little bad, not even using the box for what the box is intended, but yeah.
Whatever. I mean, they're going to be great for Solaris. I'm excited about that. And I've been doing a lot of stuff that we're going to be bringing to Southern Assault. So I won't talk about those things, but it is part of hobby progress. And I've been busy with that stuff.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you are at least enjoying the box set in a way that you can.
Oh, there are lots of parts in the box I like. It's just not a complete product. That's all.
Well, I think that's it. We can move on to games played now. Woo. I got some playtest games for Southern Assault Classic, which unfortunately I feel like I can't talk about because that'd be like breaking the confidentiality of like what happened and stuff. So those games happened, but they didn't really happen, folks. So sorry, everyone.
I'll pop in and say I too, all of my games played were playtest games for Southern Assault. So I am also not going to talk about them, but know that games were in fact played. Quite a few.
I had same thing with you, Denim. I'm glad we got that playtest of that one problematic game mode. I think we worked out a lot of kinks. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I did actually get one other game event played because it is October. I ran the Hunt for the Black Marauder game mode. Nate from the Battletech podcast put that together. I helped him with some of the language in that. So I missed it last year. But this year we had it in time for October, so I ran that for my local group. We had about 17, 18 people show up for that. It was a pretty big event. We had 3 or 4 tables going. We had one table that killed the Black Marauder, amazingly. They used C3 to do it, so they were very pleased with themselves. We had one table that got murdered to a man, and that's normally how that event goes.
As it should be.
And then my table, I killed 3 of the 5 players at my table, but 2 of them ran out of time to kill me. And I only had 2 armor remaining on my center torso. Or not even armor, I'm sorry. I had 2 structure remaining on my center torso. I was missing both my other arms and both my torsos. So I was in pretty rough shape, but they couldn't kill me in time. So they technically lost the event.
Yeah, it is a timed event. Yeah, that's fantastic. That sounds like the optimal spread, honestly, if you're running 3 tables. Fantastic. Do you have any pictures from that?
I don't. I was busy trying to wrangle a bunch of cats, but
I was busy trying to murder people.
It was so the way the event works in a nutshell is the Black Marauder gets an initiative deck, and on each card of the initiative deck, you get a special power. So one of them is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but one of them, allows you to violate some movement rules. The other one is some pretty nasty weather conditions. So you get up to some fun stuff, and I became fortunate more than once with the card that I drew. So great event, had a lot of fun with it, and really captured a lot of that Halloween spirit. So people had a good time.
All right. Well, I do want to move on to some tales from the hiring hall because we do love our campaign play around here. Denim, Steve, did you get any hiring hall action in this week?
I did not. I was far too busy with other things. And I'm not in the campaign, so I had too many other things to do. But I will be probably mid-November coming back.
Okay. No, that's good to hear. I mean, you're welcome to jump in. I think he's there's no closed door. Anyone can jump in. And he even said the next wave are 6-month contracts because he knows the holidays are hard. So I feel like it's a great time to hop in at scale 1.
I do what I want. He'll let me in.
And Steve, you got nothing?
No, I've been doing stuff for the tournament and painting and, prepping for the Halloween event that we ran. So no time for mercenary shenanigans, but I believe I might get one game in before Southern Assault, but if that doesn't happen, it'll be mid-November before I get back to the shop.
Okay, sounds good.
You?
Yeah, I finished my contract. I met on a Saturday, got 2 games in on that day, and finished up my last track today. So I'm coming in off that mission.
Nice.
Yeah. The Solar Flares, like I mentioned last time, are on Carver 5, fighting for the Partisans. They are fighting Hunters Hussars, a also Scale 2 mercenary force. They are led by an Orion. They have a Catapult, a Charger 3K, and a Cicada. So, not a force you don't shake a stick to, or what is it?
Can't shake a stick at?
Yeah, I don't know. Not a force to be underestimated.
Which cicada is it? Is it the PPC cicada?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nasty one.
Yeah. Yeah, it did some work and then it would jump around. But anyways, let's get into the contract overview. So the first month we were paid to recon the enemy after we landed. It went extremely poorly because the head technicians had not calibrated our gyros for the gravity difference between Carver 5 and our previous contract of Hull. We failed 2 PSRs turn 1.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And with this one being, hey, you need to recon the enemy force before they retreat off their home edge. Both of my 5.8 units, my fastest ones, falling turn 1 was real rough. And we just lost the momentum right then. That was...
Some people say it didn't account for gravity differences. Others people say massive hangover. But whatever makes you sleep better at night.
Yeah, so the Solar Flares, we held the ground until we completed the minimum objectives required to call it, put it in our best effort. And then we promptly retreated. I think none of our guys were destroyed, but I did have 2 pilots with 2 pilot head hits each. And I was like, that's rough for only making it like 4 or 5 turns. So, yeah, not fun. Month 2 had us defending the landing site because, they had driven us back after that recon mission. So, thankfully, we were on the other side of the river, and I had a nice pincer move set up. My opponent, I would need to point out, was very frustrated that he could not take any of the tanks he wanted to because we had rolled a river map and the river on the thing went the entire direction. I was like, sorry, bro. That's kind of the whole point. Yeah.
And this was being played with the new water playtest rules, right?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So his mechs were able to get across it just fine, but all of his tanks, he left them at home and took hovercraft instead. So I'm there and 4 hovercraft scream across the river, try to attack me. And I just, divert fire. And I think I killed 3 out of 4 of them on the first turn, which was great. But
that's huge. It's a big swing.
I needed that. So the Axeman and the Spartan played pincer maneuver while the Crusader and Charger of mine held the main ground. Well, I had some BSPs playing fire support. We were able to take the catapult's legs off of him, both of them, and using the new playtest rules, he was immobilized but not dead. And I was like, I think this is the first time I've killed something with legging and it still be alive in a good while. That doesn't happen very often anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. We were also able to XL kill the Charger after a long couple of turns, but it went down finally and was so happy about that.
Did you salvage anything off that?
I salvaged his catapult and his Charger.
Ooh.
Yeah. I almost had the Cicada, but it jumped with a broken leg and fell on purpose. He made the tactical decision that him standing up was worse. So now he's prone in woods with an extra plus modifier. And I was like, I don't like that plus modifier if you fall in yourself, but I understand. Yeah. So we took some more head hits that game, so I'm back up to 2 head hits on my commander and such. I was like, I'm getting real tired of these head hits, guys.
Just a little CTE. It's okay.
Yeah. I will say the big thing is he has a Gunnery 2 piloting 4 Orion, and that's just like making mincemeat of all my guys, because I don't have any piloting Gunnery 2. I got Gunnery 3 and piloting upgrades. So, yeah. But month 3, this has been, we have the momentum now, so we are pushing back. It was fast and brutal, with half of our force bum rushing his commander. He gambled his Cicada trying to get a rear shot on my Shrek tank that I had put on the flanking force. He was able to kill that, but the Axeman that I had flanking with the flanking and escorting the Shrek put that AC-20 CT, and the Shrek just put his turret around rear, another 10 points to CT. That's a dead Cicada.
Oh.
Yeah. No salvage in that.
So wait, you stole 2 of his mechs in month 2, and then you straight up cored out his commander's mech.
Not his commander, just the Cicada. He still got his commander, and he was able to buy an archer the month before. So now, at this current turn, he is down to 2 mechs, his Orion and an archer.
That's rough. That's real rough.
Yeah, my Spartan bum rushed his Orion and had hoped to like do some big damage, but Nope. I just tickled him. I got pretty into his right side, but no. The problem was he had all of his tanks just sitting on a hill. He did not move them at all that game.
Overwatch the whole game.
Just overwatched the whole game, and he rolled. All he needed was 1 shot, and he did it after a couple turns. He rolled a 9 up. I do not like the all or nothing BSPs because he rolled, and he's like, oh, that's 8 times 8 groupings. So I was like, that don't feel right on a 9 up. So he just brutalized 2 MX. So he took down the Spartan and he took down the Axeman. He technically headshot the Spartan, and I had to skin of the teeth. So
did you make it?
I did make it, but man, that Spartan is now in the ICU fighting for his life.
Woof.
Yeah. Woof. Yeah. 5 pilot hits is going to take a while to recover.
He is going to be essentially out of the game the entire next 6-month contract. So,
couldn't you go to a hiring hall and speed that up?
I don't think that does anything about speeding it up.
Oh, maybe does it do it cheaper then?
I think
there's a benefit for going to the hiring hall, I thought, for medical care. I don't remember.
You look that up and you get back to me.
I'm making it up. Never mind. We'll figure it out later.
Or just bring the MASH unit and just heal your guys in the middle of the game.
A lot of people were very upset about that, so I'm not doing that anymore. That's an optional BSP.
It's not just an optional.
I know.
Kestrel, it's an ultra optional rule. it's more fluff than it's more of a suggestion than an optional rule.
Yeah, I'm like, I get it. But we were able to kill his commander, not like kill, but push him into the water, force him to retreat back, and we were able to at least get an XL kill on that Orion. I really wanted to like CT kill, so I wouldn't have to deal with that ever again, but nope. So I think we both tied at the end of that, so it counts as a loss, but we both salvage our own mechs. So he's down 3 mechs, and I'm down -2, so as I gained 2 of his.
Well, I mean, that still works out pretty well, and you got a nice bump there, so.
Yeah. We got paid. We are the books are green at the end of the contract. That's all that matters.
Good. Medical expenses not considered, but
no, that's going to be a half of a year. So yeah, that's Tales from the Hiring Hall for me.
Well, sounds like fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the contract overview games. Well, we do have some upcoming events. We of course have Southern Assault 5, which is coming up. In 2 weeks? A week?
Less than. Yeah.
Oh,
real tight.
Yeah, you can't do that to me, man. I still got to paint stuff.
Gotta get that painting done, those display boards, pack your bags, get your plane tickets. We're going, baby.
But we do have some slots open for the Classic, I believe. So if anyone wants to join, last minute chance. I know there's probably people dropping. If you want to come, you can come.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I think we got some fun stuff slotted for the Classic tournament. I really do. I'm very optimistic that it's going to go well. So,
yeah. I've been playtesting a lot of stuff. I'm excited.
I'm just disappointed I'm not playing in it. Can you guys fire me and then rehire me afterwards?
You know too much. You've seen too much.
Yeah.
But
there is another event happening, not in the next month, but in some months, right, Steve?
Yeah. That's Brawl in the Bluegrass 2026. That is occurring March 6th through 8th in Lexington, Kentucky, hosted by Tweezer from the MRC, also on the Cool and Pod podcast. So that's occurring. And I went last year. Josh, you went last year. I'm very excited. I think this is a ton of fun. He's got things done a little bit differently this year, but it is a full weekend event. He's got registration badges for $5, and then you buy your individual tickets for whatever events you want to participate in. On Friday, you can participate in a trial of Bloodright to try to earn a blood name. I don't know which clan's blood name we'll be going for this year, but last year they did a Goliath Scorpion one, which was pretty cool. There is also a Full Metal Royale Rumble, which I believe is the one where you build a metal model from Iron Winds and then you can field it in the condition it is in that you've built. So if you build it with 2 legs and 1 arm, that's what you're going into battle with. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
I like the pressure of I gotta build it. There's a minimum like, oh no, you can't buy the single piece Kintaro or something. Like no, it has to actually be a challenge. But I enjoy that there's a live repair game.
Yeah, I'm getting that Wolverine that has like 6 legs, and I'm putting 4 of them on there.
Just extra legs. It's a quad mech now.
It's a quad Wolverine now.
But there is also a Classic and Alpha Strike tournament. Those were a lot of fun last year. You can sign up, and if you sign up and pay prior to January 12th, you get to save $10 on your entry fee. So help Jeff out, look at it, sign up. You're going to get a swag bag. You're going to get pizza. I'll probably be there with a bottle of Malort. So it'll be a good time. Jeff did a really nice job last year. I enjoyed myself tremendously and pretty excited. That's happening at the Town Place Suites by Marriott in Lexington, Kentucky. March 6th through 8th. So check it out.
Cool.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into the Gears of War playtest packet number 3.
All right.
Grillers Gone Wild is proud to announce their newest partnership with the Lyran Commonwealth Tech Division to bring you the new ER Flammenwerfer. Now, with the hottest plasma torch containment technology and new miniaturized nozzles, you can verf flammens on all those pesky infantry blobs to your heart's content. So come on down to see the hottest commercial grills to the most combat-effective war crime weapons on the battlefield. Whether you're cooking turkeys with the techs or roasting falcons on the field, Grillers Gone Wild has all the tech to make you sweat.
And we're back. Guess what, boys? It's playtest pack number 3. Because are you tired of the playtest packets now? Does this just feel like teasing? Like we're changing things?
If this is the stuff they're going to put in there, I'm not tired of it. I'm happy to throw this stuff on the table and get some games in with it, just to see. I've enjoyed playing with the new rules just to test them out. This is fun for me.
The one thing I wish we had was a little bit more of a sneak peek into the changes as a whole, because we know there are other changes happening. So it's really difficult to look at some of these changes in a vacuum without understanding what the rest of the landscape is going to look like when we're all said and done.
But I agree with that.
And that's just a pet peeve, right? It's like, we're changing stuff. It's like, okay, but what's the other stuff look like? We're not going to tell you. I'm like,
yeah, it's a play test, not a full test. I understand though.
But it's like if you want to know how certain things affect heat, it would be nice to know what other changes they're not putting into the playtest that they're just doing, so that we know how that's going to play with it. Because, like Steve said, we're doing it in a vacuum. We don't have all the information. If you want to know how it feels, we need to know how it works with everything else. Like that is actually important. So
we'll just have to see. I mean, as long as the people in charge understand that, we're giving feedback with limited information, as long as I take that grain of salt, we'll be okay.
Well, let's not dwell on that. Let's open up playtest packet number 3 and just dive right in. So first off, they mentioned that please note, use these with Battletech mechs only, as well as this note of the below proposals are to be used together it is not intended to be used in a single game. Like, there are too many different interactions here to do that. So they really are like, hey, you're going to have to play with some of this component. You're going to play with some of this. Like, there is no play test where all of these interact together. So
that sounds like a challenge, Josh. I think we can do it. All the rules, all the time.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, playtest option number 1, explosive component damage standardization. Because, we already had damage reduction for ammo explosions, so let's do it for equipment. Which, to be fair, there's a bunch of equipment that explodes, and I have always check how much it explodes for in the rules.
Oh, yeah. Once they introduced like the 14th different Gauss rifle, I don't know off the top of my head what all of them explode for sure. So this is actually super nice. So what does this do?
So essentially now we take how many crit slots that equipment is, and we just multiply it by 2. So if you have 7 crit slots, like an inner sphere Gauss rifle, multiply by 2, you take 14 internal structure damage when that explodes.
Well, it's 6 less than it normally would have been, right?
So like the Hag 40 does 20 because it's 10 crits, right?
Yep. And I think that's the largest explosive component possible. And I think the smallest we determined was the light Gauss.
Light Gauss, and that's 5. So between the 10 to 20 points of damage is what you're going to take. But by looking at the crit slots and multiplying by 2, you don't have to look it up in the book, and that speeds things up. So I like that.
And the other thing is this allows for any other explosive equipment to be either added or changed or anything, and it just uses a standard rule for if it explodes, this is the rule. No more this equipment explodes for this. I like the reduction of edge case on this one.
Yeah, that's nice.
Steve, any thoughts?
No, I mean, that helps me because I'm coming into this with probably the least amount of institutional experience. So if I can look at the number of slots, I can multiply by 2 on a good day, and that should speed up my game significantly. So that's great.
So the question is, how will this interact with the case rules that they proposed earlier? So would that reduce down if something had case to like 10 damage?
If it's treated as an ammo explosion, yes, because that's how the rules currently are. But if it's an independent thing, so Gauss rifles now have their own explosion type thing, and it's not considered an ammo explosion, then no. So I don't know. We'll have to see what they say about that. Like that's not addressed here.
Yeah. I think that'll be something very important to like. How does this work? Is mayonnaise an explosive instrument?
I mean, looking at the language they use here, all explosive components lose their specific explosive damage values and instead use a new general rule where their internal explosion damage equals crit slots times 2. So it seems like internal explosion damage is persistent to the component and not ammo. Maybe I'm trying to parse out the language too much.
Yeah, but if you have case, then it already has the case limitation. So the Hag 40 would only do 10 points of damage if you have case.
No. But my point is, if the case rule states that it only reduces ammo explosion damage,
right,
it's going to be a language issue unless they clarify. So that'll be something they need to put in there.
Yep,
we'll find out. But overall, I like this. I like all standardization. No more edge cases. No more looking up in the Battletech manual. I feel like the Battletech manual is just getting less useful. Like I could play the game without a rule book, I feel like.
Good luck.
Yeah,
but
right.
It does mean that I can take out the bookmark, the little sticky note bookmark I have in the Gauss rifle section of the BMM, because I won't have to reference it quite as often.
That's true. Ready for playtest part 2?
Oh, yeah.
Anti-missile systems. All AMS systems can engage up to 2 flights of missiles per system per turn, and all AMS types reduce a missile's attack cluster to 0.
They can reduce a missile attack cluster to 0.
If you roll good and they roll bad.
Yeah. I like that a lot. The all AMS types can reduce a missile's attack cluster to size 0. That was already an optional rule, and that's a rule that I already used anyway. So I'm glad to see that's a standard rule. But the new part is that they can engage up to 2 flights of missiles per system, which means that my catapult no longer gets a freebie firing at somebody with a single AMS. It can fire at both of my flights, which is a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, I was going to say in a lot of my games, AMS hasn't come up much, hasn't been very prevalent. And when it did, it wasn't terribly useful.
It's another ammo weapon. Yeah, it's another ammo weapon that only has use, like slightly useful scenarios. And now they're really buffing it. This is a needed buff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is helpful. I mean, there are a couple of mechs out there that have 2 AMS systems, and those would be real nice to get out there in the field and see if they can shoot down those missiles.
Yeah.
I kind of wish, when I look at this, I know there's like, was it risk defense or risk AMS or something where it allows you to use your AMS for nearby allies. I kind of wish regular AMS did that, but
yeah, but I think that's the risk stuff is even like that's nowhere near being in the BMM, so they're not covering that right now. But it might be something that they touch on after all this is done. Like I think all that stuff needs to be tweaked.
Well, I'm just saying I wish regular AMS would extend more than just your personal unit, because I don't want to put AMS on every single unit in my force.
So I got to first off. So this lessens the discrepancy between Clan's laser AMS and Intersphere's regular AMS, because I think we talked about in the War Always Changes episodes that Clan AMS and Intersphere AMS were different. Like they Clan was better and Intersphere was better, and then they changed it so all ammo using AMS was then the same. And then Clan made laser AMS, and that could reduce below to 0 missiles essentially for a cluster size. So now we have kept that a laser AMS can engage to 0. It uses no ammo, so it's still superior in that way. And all AMS can do 2 flights, and that's really good. I got to use this tonight, and it was very, very good when my opponent was running an LRM very heavy list. And it's just like, oh, he fires his LRMs at me. I was like, okay, they're both coming at me simultaneously. I can just be like, my AMS is engaging both flights of missiles, and it did reduce 1 below 0. And I was like, oh, that felt so good, because I did not want that flight of SRMs hitting me.
Nice. So if a laser anti-missile system is engaging 2 flights of missiles,
is it 14 heat? Yeah.
Right. Do you do the heat twice or not? So again, something that, because this document doesn't address that. I have no idea how to play that.
My assumption would be yes, under the current have to use the rules as written plus playtest. If they just added these words, they did not add just how AMS works. So I think that's worth asking a question on the playtest things like, hey, how does this interact with this rule? So, but I liked it. It felt very good because you have 12 rounds of AMS per ton, and rarely am I using all 12 ammo. So now I get 6 turns of good heavy use if I'm being shot at. I like it. Are we ready for point number 3?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one's the long one. Armors, they changed. All right, moving on.
Honestly, this section feels a lot more like an errata change than anything else. There's a lot of like, delete this phrase, delete this stuff. We'll go through it, but I don't think a lot of these changes are terribly complicated.
Yeah, most of them are literally that. Delete this paragraph or delete this line. Like that's all it is. So it's very errata, not really changing much. Basically, it seems like it's removing overlap of different armor types. So if an armor type does something special, but then also does something similar to a different armor type, it just removes that minor second point.
Yeah, so real quick, anti-penetrative ablative armor. That was rarely used. It's Dark Age holdover, and it was just not as good as anything else. So now it is immune to all armor-piercing or specialty ammos that do that. So,
and the lance melee weapon. It is also immune to the lance because you see those all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's not, the lance wasn't in the Battle Mech manual, so they're adding that to it. So that is something that that is going to be seen a lot more often now.
Yep. Pharaoh Lamb loses the ability to negate AP ammo because that's okay with that. So all of these get one special thing instead of like a special genre, which I'm very glad at.
Yeah, it makes the armors feel more niche, right?
Yeah.
More specific use. And I'll tell you, I got to run some Pharaoh Lamb the other day, and holy smokes, that's good stuff. Pharaoh Lamb's really good.
I see now why you ran the Raven Alliance.
I didn't know that they had Pharaoh Lamb until I started painting them, and then I was like, oh, look at this. This stuff is great. It's also expensive.
Yeah, heat dissipating armor, all damage to heat dissipating armor by heat weapons is halved. So that's kind of how it was. And then it gets some cool magma proofness.
Yeah, it ignores heat generated by magma, but the damage is the same.
But it still does damage, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
And then there's this little phrase at the end. And a mech with this armor can still become bogged down in magma. That just sends chills down my spine. Can you imagine being trapped in a metal coffin, being bogged down in magma? No.
I've had to roll to walk through the magma and not get bogged down once, and it is not a feeling I would ever want to think about again. It is not fun. So the next one, we'll just real quick, impact resistant, delete the +1 modifier to hull breaches and the determining critical checks. Like I said, we're just making this impact resistant, not anything extra.
right.
Laser reflective, we're deleting the thing that we want heat dissipating to do. So you
So you either get heat dissipating or you get laser reflective. It doesn't get to do both.
Yeah. I think that's good because it's kind of there was no point to take heat dissipating when laser reflective was available.
Right.
I actually played that in a game. They were like, I hit you with plasma cannons. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And they didn't realize, they thought I did full damage. I was like, no, you do heat too. So my laser reflective doesn't. And they were like, what? But it's not it's not a laser. I was like, hey man, I don't. So now that's good that it's kind of in line. And the last one is reactive. Delete the section allowing to negate all AP weapon effects because it's reactive. That's kind of what it's supposed to do.
I do like how these playtests are supposed to be for the BMM or the new version of BMM. Does this mean that they're going to add magma in there? Because magma is not currently in the BMM, but they specifically mentioned it under heat dissipating rules. So that could mean that they're adding magma to the new Battle Mech manual.
Are there any current maps that have magma?
Yeah, there's a volcano one that came with it was like this thick cardboard thing, and it came with some extra punch outs.
If it's more than 10 years old, the answer is no.
It is definitely more than 10 years old. Like, definitely. And I own it.
But no, overall, I like these. Even if this is not the only things they do, I like that the intention is to separate the armors. So
yeah, that's what I like. I like the armor separation.
I've said it before. I want Battletech to have more distinctness so that it feels different, right? If everything is always the same, then that's not exciting, right? So armors being different, MEL entries being different. I want variety and flavor in my game. So this is, again, these are just initial impressions. I haven't played with any of these, and when I get my hands on some of these, I may change my mind. But from what I'm reading, they seem okay so far.
All right, let's hit the juicy one. Number 4, guys. We ready?
This is
I was made for this. This is my.
I was made for this. Autocannons. All autocannons ignore the first crit on their critical slot.
I think out of all of them, this is going to be the one that people forget about the most because it's not written on the sheet. It's not written on the record sheet. So unless they happen to know this rule, they're going to forget or miss it. But it is a very important one.
This came up today. Unfortunately, the Axeman died that same turn, but it was really cool that he critted out my AC-20, and I was like, hey man, AC-20, it's still there. it was, slapped, and it's like, this AC-20's been through 4 succession wars. It can keep trucking along.
I have to say, I like the explanation to like, oh, this is like just a really big traditional gun. It can take a little bit of abuse, and that it's not as finicky as aligned lenses and a power source like you have in a laser, or explosive ammo like you have in a missile or something like that. I like that this is a little bit more, it at least explains why they can take the damage. I also understand why, because the number of slots that an AC-20 takes up, or even an AC-10, you can get one crit and lose the main weapon on a mech, and that feels bad. I understand why they're doing it. This is probably the one rule in this packet that makes me a little bit hesitant. I'm not sure I love it, because if I get crits, I want to blow up stuff. But
hey, that person took an autocannon. You just let them, get their freebie.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm reserving judgment until I play it, but this is the one that makes me go, huh.
The autocannon is so inefficient.
Yeah,
it is.
So it needed something so bad, and I hope that this is what it needs, because it really was. It was
with
bad.
The inability to change record sheets, like they said they do not want to. The only things they could do were rules on the back end, and I think a durability buff is pretty good. Like, I will accept that. The AC-20 is probably the big one. Like, how many times have we crit out someone's location? It's like, okay, roll, and it's like, AC-20, oh cool, another AC-20, oh cool, another AC-20. Like,
it's so big. I mean, I do that on tax all the time.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, I understand it. And like I said, I just got to get my hands around this in game before I pass too much judgment. But I understand all the arguments for it. I hear it. I appreciate them.
Steve, you can be happy. You can be happy, Steve.
If I'm happy, inevitably I will become disappointed. So I need to protect my own emotional well-being. I need to be reserved.
Now, I will say my point on this is the light AC-2 only has 1 crit slot. Does that mean that it ignores that first crit slot hit? That's for the playtest questions. We'll bring that up. But things like the light AC-5 are only 2 crits. So that is a 50% freebie on the light AC-5. Riflemen everywhere. So good right now.
All means all. The light AC-2 gets a freebie.
You cannot destroy a light AC-2. It is impervious. It is the AK-47 of the mech gun world. I'm okay with the bad, worst weapon in the game, the AC-2, being, you can't crit that, man.
No,
sorry.
You can't. You just have to hit it twice. The first time you hit it ignores it. The second time you hit it, it's destroyed.
It's not the first per turn. It's just the first. It is
I'm still okay with that.
Yeah, that is not as much of the buff as you seem to have thought it was.
Yeah,
no, it's still a buff. Like the regular AC-2, 1
Yeah,
crit.
but no, like the regular AC-2 is no longer impervious to crits.
So you have to crit it twice, essentially. That's okay. I'm okay with it getting essentially a free 100% durability.
Keith Hahn has confirmed that the laser AMS, if it attacks 2 flights, it goes off twice. It does double the heat.
Yeah, no one's going to use that because that is a lot of heat. I've shot that once on an exterminator with stealth armor, the XXL one. Yeah. No, we ain't doing that. I'll take those missiles. It can't be worse. 7 damage or 7 heat? I'll take 7 heat. And yeah, maybe not anymore. That's too much heat. That's only 50% of the autocannon thing. The other half, this is for me. This is 100% written for me. Rotary autocannons. The unjamming rules for these ignore the cannot make weapon attacks clause. To make an unjam, you still got to stand still or walk, so no running or jumping. That's fine, but you can still shoot. Can't spot for indirect. No one was doing that. Still shoot your other guns. You can also use caseless ammunition on a rotary autocannon for your extra jammy jam.
Yeah, because I use a rifleman that jumps that has two rack 5s. I've got a Shadowhawk variant I love that's got a rack 5. I have a Hatchetman that I love that's got a rack 5. These are all getting caseless, and they all get to do other stuff when it jams, because they always jam, always.
Yeah, I'm pleased, actually, because that's one thing that never made sense. I can understand pushing the reset button and having the rotary do its thing, but why can't I shoot the medium lasers on my other hand when I'm waiting for this to go off?
Yeah.
It just never made sense to me. I'm pleased at this change. I'm not pleased that Josh is happy about it, but I'm pleased that this change is happening because it's probably for the betterness of it's probably for the improvement of the game.
I will say there was exactly one mech I was thinking of, and that's the Hammerhand 6D, because it has 2 Rack 5s and it is only 2 tons of Rack 5 ammo, which is 20 shots. So that is like 4 turns of full speed firing. Now I can caseless those and make it 40 shots of caseless. So I've at least now have enough ammo for a whole normal game of classic Battletech.
Oh, I might be firing these things in bursts of 6 finally, because I've always only ever fired them in 5 bursts. Like 6 is now a viable option.
Now, unless caseless ammo changes, when you roll Snake Eyes on a caseless, you can't on-jam those, as far as I'm like, that's just it for the autocannon, right?
I don't know. I've never used caseless because there's no point.
That is the way I understand it. So I think if you use regular ammo with the rotary autocannon, I think you can unjam. If you still jam, if you double jam, essentially caseless jam and rack jam, I think we're screwed. So that'll be a little bit of a how does that interact question. But there's a third point. And this one angered some people. Don't know why. Didn't anger me. Ultra autocannons no longer jam. They jelly instead.
This one is, I think Ultras got a lot of hate because they jammed on 2s and you were just hosed. You couldn't do anything with them.
It happened too often. It just happened too often.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that there's been a fix. I know a lot of people, I was in this group, our initial impression was going to be that the Ultra autocannon would simply get the same you can unjam like a rack. And most people, I think, would have been happy with that. The fact that they can't jam at all, normally I want to go, oh, maybe that's a little much. But
I don't think so.
You're rolling on the cluster chart, so it doesn't matter. You're really
rolling on the cluster 2 chart.
Yeah.
Which means that you're only hitting both of them on an 8 up. It was already, the odds were against you hitting with 2 of them, and also now it jams. So it no longer jamming, and you're just having to worry about, well, do I get that 8 up? It takes away the bad feel, and it only leaves the one good feel that happens like 40% of the time.
Yeah, I think we'll see how this goes. I don't think this is too big a problem. I think this is a bigger buff than I thought Ultras were going to get. I was anticipating them getting the rotary rules, but it's neat. We'll see how it goes.
My thought on this was they've tried so many things like SPAs, quirks, and nobody is still taking Ultra Autocannons unless you like everything else on the mech. Like, yes, the Ultra Autocannon 20, that is the only one that I see people normally taking, because the chance and the off chance you hit for 40 damage in 2 locations, like 20 damage in 2 locations, you guys know what I mean. But yeah, that is it. Like, it's not worth it to take it on an Ultra Autocannon 5, which almost every like Civil War mech has.
So many of them, and it's so heavy and it's so inefficient. But at least now,
just double tap every turn.
It's every single turn, and you get to ignore the first crit they take. So,
yes. In Hans we trust.
Do you want to know a dirty secret, Josh?
I do.
I really like the Ultra Autocannon 5.
Hey, but now you can have more fun with it. Like, now you can... There is not a downside to it besides it's being very heavy on all that and poor cluster rolls. But hey, man, I'll take the poor cluster rolls and just every turn I'm paying 2 heat, or 2 times the heat to fire it 2 times.
Absolutely. There's something very fun about going thump thump with a gun.
Does your brain make the sound for you, Steve? Because it sure does for me.
Every single game, thump thump. It's like Law and Order, but with guns.
I love the idea, and now I will honestly take more autocannons because of this change to test them out. I'm excited about it. I mean, I play a Shadowhawk. It's always had an autocannon of one type or another, so I will use it. I will test it.
All right, so Denim, did you look up caseless ammo in that time?
Oh yeah. Caseless ammo. It does jam the weapon on a 2. But if I'm firing 6 in the caseless, then its jam is something like a 5. So So it's going to jam potentially much, much before the caseless. Now, if the caseless jams, it's done. It cannot be unjammed. That's only on a 2. That's only on a 2. But you got so much ammo, and the rifleman's got 2 of those things anyway, so it's okay. I say that I have jammed both of those on double 1s on the same turn, rolling 4 1s more than once. So it does happen.
I would still call Worth. To take caseless and risk the ones for permanent jamming. I mean,
I have my hammer hands, my second hammer hands, in the unjamming position where it's like held high, so he's like getting ready to like slam it down. It's like I can't do that anymore. I got to buy a third hammer hands now. Ugh.
So this is interesting.
The next one, or
no, the caseless ammo stuff. I mean, I know we're not going over that, but on an attack result of 2, the ammo feed breaks, so it doesn't really a jam. It's the ammo feed that breaks.
Yeah.
The weapon is useless for the rest of the scenario. In addition, the shot automatically misses, and that's different than jamming a rack because say you need a 3 and you roll a 4, but you needed a 5 to not jam. It still hits. It still does all the damage, but then it jams. So this one is the attack automatically misses, and the controlling player must immediately roll once on the determining critical hits table, applying all critical hits to the affected autocannon, starting with the uppermost undamaged slot. But it's an autocannon now, so that hit, if it's the first one you took, is ignored. Right?
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
So maybe we get a free second chance with caseless. Maybe. I don't know. That first part
your ammo feed still breaks, so it's broken, but you can avoid that. What it does is it makes it immune, because if you're firing the autocannon, it didn't take a critical hit already because you're firing it. So basically you just break the ammo feed, you don't break the autocannon in that case.
All right. I accept that. So caseless rack 5.
Yeah, it's still a boost.
Love it. In Hans Davion, we trust. Point number 5. In Blake, we trust. C3.
Oh man! So all right, we're talking about autocannon buffs. We're talking about C3 buffs. My Draconis Combine is happy.
Yeah. Denim, break these down for me for my smooth Comstar 2 kid.
All right, if you're doing a C3 Lance, it can get expensive.
Yeah.
It can go anywhere from 10% to 60% of a force's BV, depending on how many you're adding to the C3 chain and what type of C3 you're using.
Yeah.
Like that's super, super crazy. And if you have ECM basically anywhere on the map, it negates it, because line of sight through the bubble. I say line of sight. The line of the C3 going through the bubble, whether you have line of sight or not, completely nullifies that connection. So it was a very expensive thing that could be negated very, very easily by a very common piece of technology. ECM is not uncommon. It's on everything except for, I think, the most intro of intro tech mechs. So that was really bad. So they did change it. First of all, the one thing that was not a buff is that it does now require line of sight. So it actually brought it back in line with the Alpha Strike. A long time ago, classic C3 needed a line of sight. Then they took that out. But Alpha Strike was based on that older one, so it left it in. So then we had 2 systems that had 2 different ways of doing C3. Now they're the same. They both need line of sight, and I'm happy about that. I like that they're both the same. But now, if an active C3 network can be formed by the Force, any unit that is part of that just multiplies its battle value by 1.3. If it's a boosted C3, it's a 1.35. Like, that's it. There's no crazy other math. Just this unit is multiplied by that, and then you add it all up.
That's not bad. It really simplifies the process.
And then the bubble ECM has to surround the C3 computer wherever it locates. If it's like a vehicle or a mech or whatever, the bubble has to touch it. It can't just do the line of sight through that bubble. It has to overlap it. And when that happens, it reduces the C3's ability by half. So instead of getting a -4, an essential -4, because you get someone in close range, the person in long range gets to fire at close range. That's essentially a -4. If it is being jammed by ECM, that is just reduced to a -2 instead of a -4. So your bonus is halved.
But Denim, what if I have 2 ECM mechs and they both surround the same unit? Does that reduce it to 0?
Steve, don't get greedy. No, if it's jammed, it's jammed. Whether it's by 1 or by 17 ECMs, it's still the same effect. You just reduce it by half once.
So here's a question. Do we think that Angel ECM is going to trump that and make it where Angel ECM can break it entirely like regular ECM used to? Because I would assume there has to be some benefit of Angel ECM.
It does not specify a type of ECM. It just says an ECM. So because of how it's written, that covers all the different types of ECMs. So it looks like no, Angel ECM acts exactly the same way as the other.
Maybe, but there may be a special Angel ECM rule line that we're not seeing.
Well,
right?
yeah, it might be. I'm saying according to these playtest rules, though, it does not specify a type. So when we're playtesting it, it doesn't matter if you've got an Angel or not until they give us more information.
I feel like there's going to be a lot more things added to the 1.01 version of this, where it's like, hey, how does it interact with this? And like, oh, you're right. That is technically, we need to know how that interacts with. But that's why they're putting these out. It's like, hey,
Like
find all the
this was
things
easy, it would have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, I think this is the good part of the playtest where they're not realizing all of the things that interact together, like just in C3, just in autocannon, just in AMS, like all those little things. It's like, oh, you're right, we didn't think about that. Or if we did, we just didn't think that you guys would. So good on everyone for thinking about all this. So overall, C3... like for me as a C3I player, it doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing for C3I. It's just,
Yes. Yeah. Is it a type of C3 or is it a type of boosted C3? Those are the only differences.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that now I can take equipment and I may not get the full benefit of short range, but instead I get benefit of somewhat short-ish range.
Your C3 will always be useful.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
That was the hardest part about any time that I take a C3 iMech. It's like, is it actually worth it to take C3? No, because he'll just take ECM and that'll be the end of that. Like SRMs could still fire if I jam out their streaks.
Oh, man, I've got that catapult with 2 MRM 30s with a C3 slave. It is going to be so happy after this playtest.
So overall, I love this. I love that. I think we talked about this back in the day when we talked about C3, actually.
Yeah, and it's definitely something, obviously, because we did a whole podcast on it, that had a problem. Will this completely fix that? Who knows? But we need to playtest this one. We need to see, because I would love to see if this fixes all those issues. The ECM bubble alone. Like I was talking about that on the podcast. I never thought that ECM should block something just because the line of sight went through it. I always thought it should be covering whatever it's jamming. It needs to be covering that. Otherwise it's just too effective. A 7 hex bubble is gigantic.
C3 spotters stocks, they are up.
Yeah.
ECM also stocks up, just not as up. But I'm okay with that. Let's move on to the actual ECM section. Or did you think we covered that?
Well, yeah, because it's one line. It says that that ECM needs to be covering the thing it's jamming. Merely drawing line of sight through an ECM radius has no effect. The exact thing that I had always said, they actually did that. Super happy.
Yeah, let's just move on to gyro then, specifically heavy gyros. This is one that I always wondered, hey, I've got a heavy duty gyro. That means I get something, right? And the rules always were like, no, it's just a different gyro. And I was like, but it's heavy duty. And I'm like, whatever. Now it's just a +1 gyro instead of now what we already had is the regular gyro of +2.
Well, I mean, the heavy duty, it did take 3 critical hits to destroy it, not 2.
Yeah, but
so it did give you something. It gave you 1 free gyro hit. That's not nothing.
Yeah. Look, I was already on the ground. It's like, hey, your gyro's not destroyed. It's like, I don't care. I'm already pressing my life alert. Come on. But yeah, and no PSR is forced as a result of a heavy duty gyro hit. Oh man, that's so good. I can't. Like, I now need to find a heavy duty gyro mechs to just be like, I'm standing up. I'm staying standing until you destroy me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It is a reinforced gyroscope. It should do more than it did. It didn't do nothing back in the old BMM days, but it wasn't enough.
No, not for
the cost.
Not for the cost. Now, you still have to make a PSR when you jump with the gyro hit, just because anytime you jump with a gyro hit. So, yeah, I'm okay. I like the heavy duty gyro now. It's heavy duty. Steve?
Yeah, this is one of those pieces of technology that didn't come up a ton in a lot of our local games, at least in my experiences. I don't know. I've seen them before, but not terribly often. So I'm excited to see how this changes things, but I don't have particularly strong feelings about this because I never grew attached to the original, heavy duty gyro rules.
Until you get gyroed with a heavy duty gyro and you look at the rules and you get angry because you are paying for a heavy duty gyro and you're now on the ground just like a regular gyro. It's like, why did I take the heavy duty gyro? Oh, so I could have another turn of being on the ground? Yeah, this doesn't mean anything until it happens.
Yeah, but that's why I never took them.
Yeah. Point number 8, missile changes. We've already had some missile changes, but now we have ATM missiles changes.
Right. This first one is weird. It's just weird because, first of all, ATMs, the way you do it is because you've got the ATMs that do 1 point of damage, the ones that do 2 points damage, and the ones that do 3 points of damage, and they all fire out of the same launcher. So whenever you hit with a launcher, you add up all of that damage, and then you break it up into clusters of 5. So it's just it was always weird the way that was done, especially because of like the sizes of the ATMs. It just felt weird. So that was already weird, but at least like a cluster of 5, you do cluster of 5 with everything. You fall down, it's a cluster of 5. You get hit with air support, it's a cluster of 5. You get hit with LRMs, it's a cluster of 5. So now they're like, oh, do all the weird stuff you did, but also make that cluster a 6 instead of a 5. So you have to remember that when you add up all your damage. And now you have to divide by something other than 5, which is also weird.
Yeah, this doesn't mean a whole lot some of the times, but other times it means a standard cluster. Like, I use the ATM 9s a lot, so the max damage I get on that is 27. 27 still does not divide by 6. It doesn't divide by 5, doesn't divide by 6. So there's always going to be a little bit of...
Yeah, but dividing 27 by 5, it's 5 groups of 5 with a leftover 2. That's super easy because it's a group of 5. It's just easy. Dividing it by 6, you have to do a whole different sort of math. You're going to have people pulling out calculators. You're going to have some arguments. It's going to slow down the game.
Yeah. The other thing this does is it actually makes ATMs less effective at hitting multiple locations. So the big ATM span Novacat E's and Society mechs that Jason Hansen used on me that just did like so much damage. You don't have that anymore. Like you still have it, but you have on average, I think, 1 less cluster roll, which is
going to make Pharaoh Lamb a whole lot more effective because it does it in groups of 5. So 5 points brings it down to 4. 6 points also brings it down to 4. It's going to be less efficient against Pharaoh Lamb.
I feel like that one could probably stay 5 and be okay. Like, I'm okay with it going to 6, but I feel like there's too many edge cases where the game's built around clusters of 5.
Yeah, I don't love this one.
What about the next one? extended range LRMs, also known as ERLRMs.
Elerms.
Don't just call them extended range.
Alarmas. Delete the BMM Games rules entry entirely.
Yeah, what all that said basically was if you're in the minimum range, then you roll on half the cluster table. So if it's an ELRM 10 and you're in the incredibly long minimum range, then you roll on the 5 cluster instead of the 10 cluster if you do hit.
But not anymore.
Yeah, now you just do it as normal.
They're getting a buff.
I'm okay with that. It's like those people and the HVAC 2 people, the high velocity and light autocannon 2 people. Like, hey, if you want to snipe, go for it. Just do it.
Yeah, they're heavy and inefficient, but they've got very long range. I used a catapult with ELRMs against Hansa. It's the catapult that came in the Grey Death Legion box. Is super effective only because I just put them up on a hill way back in the corner of the map and it never moved. And you know, across the map, it was still in medium range. So it was great.
I mean, what even is the range on one of those?
It is 12, 22, 38 with a minimum range of 10.
Holy
So
smokes.
22 hexes away, you're still in medium range.
I love it, but man, I hate it. And this is a very minor because I don't think it actually affects anything that's already in a record sheet, but they can use Artemis 4 fire control systems. So
yeah, I mean, it's great for custom mechs.
Terrible
yeah,
for official because there are none.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some new mechs, which, you know, with all these rules and stuff, like this, especially this gear one, this could lead into some new technical readouts with mechs that we've never seen before because they have a lot more stuff that can be used.
A new era of customs is upon us, Denim.
I now use customs a lot. I use customs every month. So yeah.
I think it'd be really cool for them to have a technical readout Renaissance 2.0 or something where it's like these mechs are designed for these rules, like fully. Like no equipment that had to be retrofitted. It's like, nope, they are meant to be optimized for the new rule set, which that'd be fun. But the next rule, Denim, I feel like is just for you. And that is medium range missiles, our favorite MRMs, eliminate the +1 target number penalty, but apply -1 cluster hit penalty because you know what?
So here's the problem. When I use MRMs, which I do a lot, I do not like to use it with the Apollo fire control system because it eliminates the +1 target number penalty, but it applies a -1 cluster. I would rather hit a little bit less often, but when I do, hit with as much damage as I possibly can. Yeah. Now, is that the flavor of an MRM? No, it's not. I actually think that this way is technically more correct because you're just spraying such a big spray of missiles. You shouldn't have a penalty to hit because it's a big cloud. You're gonna hit, but because there's such a big cloud and they spread out, you should be hitting with less overall than you normally would with the different launchers. So this does feel more correct, and I will take it, but it's not the way that I played with my MRMs. It just means I need to go bigger MRMs. Instead of 10s, always go 20. Instead of 20s, if I can, always go 30s. I'm down with that. What I'm interested in is what is Apollo going to do to them now?
Probably more cluster.
Maybe.
More cluster. And, I bet it's a -1 target number, kind of like Artemis 5. So now they get actual fire control, which would be cool. I'm okay with that. But that's not in the playtest packet.
Right. And they mentioned, like at least they address it. They're like, if this change is accepted, we're going to have to rework Apollo. We haven't thought about that yet.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of scared.
Don't do this. Don't be scared, Steve.
No.
You were scaredy Steve last episode, and I put up with it.
So scared. Look at this. MRMs were like, okay, like I agree with them. Flavor wise, I think these changes are perfect. But that's a lot of missiles, and a lot of missiles scare me. I don't like fighting in the shade. Okay,
it's in groups of 5, Steve. It's in groups of 5.
So many missiles.
Take your AMS, get some cover. There's a very few MRM mechs that I actually encounter in the field just because they are that bad. Like, it's the same problem with rocket launchers, which I talked about when I took rocket launchers. I was like, hey, if I'm gonna suck, I might as well be the one turn of firing instead of multiple. But
no, I agree. I think this is going to be fine. But the idea of not getting the +1, I mean, I think it needs it. I don't think there are that many MRM mechs out there that I really run into a lot, or maybe I just don't run into them.
It's because of that. It is 100% because no one likes taking a +1.
Well, then maybe we'll see more of them. I mean, I don't hate this. It just, that's a lot of missiles.
There's a lot of Capellan mechs that are just left on the shelf because they are MRM heavy, and this helps them.
Yeah.
So I like all these except the cluster for ATMs. I think that we need to think about that a lot. Moving on, Narc and INARC. Ooh, that's a lot of text for Narc. So
it's not that bad. Like it's just a big paragraph. Basically, if you use Narc or INARC, you know that it hits a location.
Mm-hmm.
And if that location gets destroyed, then you lose the Narc.
Yep.
But you also have the option of scraping it off with your hands. You no longer have the option of scraping it off with your hands or arms. You can't do that. And any attack on a target equipped with Narc is a -1 to hit and a +2 on the cluster table. And it gives it the normal bonuses for indirect fire and stuff.
So it combined the two instead of like all before you had to pick one. You either got the cluster or the spotting. So
I didn't know that. I thought it was always both. I can look that up in the BMM.
Okay, so Narc and INARC missile beacons. So the first thing is they've kind of lumped INARC in with Narc. Like, there really isn't the separation anymore. And as the Comstar player, I'm a little disappointed in that because we invented INARC and the whole I is the improved section. But I guess that means Narc gets a few benefits. So now they get the -1 target number modifier to missiles that are Narc equipped. So if you hit with a regular Narc, you get the benefit of -1, just like INARC does now, which I'm okay with. I think that's okay.
I always thought it should have, because it's a beacon that's calling them in. It should be easier to hit. Like it is in all the video games. In all the video games, it makes it easier to hit and it increases the cluster. So why not in the tabletop as well? It makes sense.
Now, the plus to cluster didn't change. That's fine. Everyone likes more clusters on their LRMs. I mean, It's not Artemis 4, but it's INARC, or Narc. The big difference is you can no longer brush off an INARC pod. It is no longer that big.
Right. It's the ability for targets to brush off INARC pods is removed. Yes.
And the other one with ECM and NARC, does that change at all? Like, I feel like as long as the enemy was under ECM, they're friendly of their ECM, the NARC stopped working.
Did I hear you say that right? It says here that the unit that fired the pods doesn't lose the benefits due to ECM. Am I understanding that right? That reads to me that if I shoot you with an arc beacon, my allies don't get the benefit, but I still do. Am I reading that wrong?
No, you're reading that wrong. What they're saying is with the ECM bubble. So if you attach a narc beacon onto an enemy mech, all right, but there is an enemy mech near you or any other of your friendly units that have narc equipped missiles, it doesn't matter if they're covering your mechs as the firing mechs, because your missiles are going up and out of the bubble anyway. Once they leave the bubble, they are going to home in on the homing beacon that is stuck to the enemy mech. So they have to get a friendly ECM to cover your narc pod that's on that mech, and that would disrupt the missiles homing in on them.
Okay.
Which is how it should work. It's totally how it should work.
I agree. I read that and I was like, but the unit that fires the pods doesn't lose the benefit. I see.
Yeah, that one needs to be clarified, because it does sound like hey, whoever fires the narc pod can never be jammed.
Right.
It's just the clarity of the writing.
Yeah. I'm really waiting for that version 1.01. But overall, I like that. I know I've had a game where I was like, oh, I've hit you and you have no arms / especially no hands because you're a rifleman. And if I narked you, good luck getting that off. But a little disappointed because I missed them punching themselves to death. I said it. Physical weapons. Another long one. This is mainly changing so that all physical weapons aren't bad anymore.
Yeah.
Number 10. First off, we'll start with the claw. The claw loses the +1, just like MRMs. So it's now a +0. So,
oh man, again, a mech that I love, that Crusader with the 2 claws and TSM and the XXL engine. He's not going to miss nearly as much.
I thought you were going to talk about the Kentio.
The Contio is a little bit expensive because it doesn't have an XXL. The Crusader is much more affordable, so I use that more often.
That's the poor man's Contio, Steve.
Yeah, I have been known to use the Contio before, though. It's fun, especially with that stealth armor.
Yeah, Contio is a little expensive. TMM, stealth armor. Yeah. Crusader. Hey, you just want to punch something, take the head off. That's it.
That XXL lowers the beat so much.
We all like that. I'm okay with that. Next one, lances. How does lance change? It doesn't look like it to me.
Change. It's not in the BMM. This is not a change. It's an addition. So, which is nice that they included how it works now. So, it wasn't in the BMM. If you're going to be playtesting it, here's how it works. So,
but I mean, nice. They're like, what, 2 mechs that have a lance in reality? I don't think I've ever seen one in the wild. Because
it's not it's in the advanced books. So there aren't a lot of mechs that use it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a shame that the Lancelot does not have a lance.
Steve, can you name one of the 2 mechs I'm thinking of with lances?
I think the original Percival had a lance, actually. If we go to Bobby at Fortress Miniatures and Games, I think his original custom had a lance on it.
It did.
Give me a cannon mech, Steve. Give me a cannon mech.
Come on. You got to ask me a fair question. I have no idea.
Teat Sang, Dolo Ire.
The only one I knew was the Dolo Ire.
I was like, everyone knows one of them.
Well, I faced a Dolo Ire.
Yeah. All right, the next one, physical weapon, mace. Delete the PSR for missing. Boys, brigand stocks are through the moon. That's love so it.
Nice. I get it. The idea is that it was like heavy and off balance, and if you swing this mace and you miss, you got to make a PSR, but that just feels bad.
Yeah. You know what's worse than that? The flail, which, actually missed and did damage to yourself.
Yeah.
So the mace being, hey, free to swing it. I'm like, thank you. Because it felt real bad to swing, to do a melee, and I'm like, I can't not mace the person, so it feels real good. Physical weapon, retractable blade. Piercing optional rules. It's a mandatory rule now, boys.
Good.
Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't break when you crit.
Oh, so good.
Super good. Like this is how I wanted it to be anyway. I had a spider that my brother made that had retractable blades on it, and it was so good, except for all the times that it broke.
Yeah, which, I mean, the few times that you can use the retractable blade for like full effect, I mean, that's like the whole point, is to retract it and shoot it into someone. And instead, it's just a punch, wet -2. Like, yeah.
I have a proposal. What if on any bug mech that has a retractable blade, we require it to be renamed an ovipositor?
No, it's a stinger.
No, that's a mech.
We can have stingers the mech and stingers the attack.
No, ovipositor sounds way cooler.
No.
Oh yeah, all my Wolverine mechs will now have retractable blades.
Next one, physical weapon shield. Guess what, boys? Tac Ops coming home to the BMM.
Yeah. I have only used these in my Solaris matches when we run them, because Solaris matches are open book. Like anything you can find in a book that has a BV, I let you take. This is the only place I've ever seen shields.
Now, did shields change in this, or is this just a direct add?
It from what I read, because I don't have the other book open right here. This is how I remember playing them.
Yeah.
So it's very, very similar. It references it a few times. It's got a movement modifier. Even though they're writing these for the BMM, it does kind of bother me that they assume that you have the books to play this, because they're supposed to be playtesting for the BMM, and they're requiring you to have another book there to try to playtest these. So you can't just playtest it with what's in the playtest packet. You need to have access to the non-BMM book in which these rules are in.
Yeah, because you don't have anything about like the damage value that reduce different size reduce. So yeah, no, I get it. I understand. I think they're just like the people that want to take shields will be able to test out how shields work in BMM. So I know I've got my little Valiant and a couple Black Knights, but that's really all that's there. I think I've done the math. 50% of all shield using mechs are Black Knights.
Nice.
Yeah. So like the fact that it claims that a mech can have two shields, but can only raise one at a time. I don't remember if the original rules were that it could only have one, or that it could have two and raise both at the same time. I'm not sure, but either way, you can now have two, but you can only have one up at the time. And you could use a shield bash, which is kind of cool.
We ready for special munitions? It's small, but important.
It is small. And it also, we'll get to it.
First one, AP ammo for autocannons.
So this is more, or I guess less refined, but in a positive way. Because when you used to hit on those, it had a different modifier for AC2, AC5, AC10, AC20.
Mm-hmm.
It made it not usable. Like they were bad. Like I was like, oh, I want to take Protomech autocannon, I don't know, 4s. Because that's what my mech that I wanted to take. And it's like, cool. Well, that's a -3 to roll. You need an 11 once you hit. And I was like, but I'm dealing with a +1 to my target number.
Yeah. So because the AC2 was a -4, the AC5 was a -3, AC10 a -2, and the AC20 was a -1. So you still had all of that. And now it's just, is it a 2, 4, or 5? Then it's a -2. Is it an 8, 10, or 20? It's a -1. Done.
So good.
And you get more ammo. It used to be ammo multiplier was 0.5, and now it's 0.8. So it's not.
That's a couple extra shots. That can matter.
Well, the AC20 with armor piercing ammo only had 2 shots.
Yeah, I know. I love this. This makes stupid mechs like the Kraken with so many Protomech autocannons that were like
less of a negative modifier and more ammo. We'll actually start seeing armor piercing ammo being used, because we don't. It's dumb.
We took out all those like bad crit things, and now we're adding them back in. So everyone who was mad, like, oh no, all my fun crits are going away. It's like now take those autocannon 2s and start plinking away. Oh, you only need a 10 up now to crit something.
It also clarifies how the armor piercing ammo works against ballistic reinforced or hardened armor.
Yep. They are standard damage. Against hardened armor, AP ammo is standard damage. AC20
standard damage
does 20 pips of armor, not halvesies, fullsies.
Yep.
That is king.
It's standard damage against standard armor. Very clear.
Steve, thoughts on AP ammo? Have you taken AP ammo before?
Yeah. I've used AP AC5 before, and it felt kind of bad because you were hitting stuff, and that was fun. And then you're rolling on, I think at the time it was like a 10 up for a critical hit.
Yeah,
with the old AC5 rules, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure why I took this, because those odds aren't great, And by the number of turns you're going to get through before you really need to worry about getting a crit the old-fashioned way. It was really only 1 or 2 shots before you started to get in there. So
yeah, you needed to roll with the AC5. From what I remember, you needed to roll an 11 to get that crit. An 11.
thought it was plus 2.
It's a -3. So 11, 10, 9, 8.
Okay.
Like at 8 is where you start getting the crits.
Yeah.
You needed to roll an 11 with the armor piercing AC 5.
And that was on top of the +1 target number. I was like, when you said I hit, and I was like, whoa, you hit with your AP ammo? I never hit with my AP ammo.
I got a few hits, but I don't think it ever generated any real through armor criticals.
No.
Except for one. There was one
And
when I
it
hit
should.
a bin of LBX-10 ammo.
Yeah. If you're paying for it, you should see it proc sometimes. Like it should be.
But I really like how now against hardened and ballistic reinforced armor, ignore the damage reduction rule. So AP ammo, we made autocannons useful, like the dummy made in the 2500s autocannons good against new armor that's in the 3150s.
Yep.
So your Intratech can fight up. Next one, precision autocannon ammo.
More ammo, yay!
Yeah, no change to the rules, but we do change the ammo multiplier.
I use a different rifleman with precision. I mean, with the light AC5s, and I put precision ammo in those, and that is one mech where I actually do run out of ammo. It's just not enough ammo for them, and this will help that a lot. So super happy.
Now we all know why they made it 0.6 instead of 0.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
they get that AC 20 up to 3 rounds for 5 shots as opposed to 2. That's a huge change.
We no longer have to do any. How do we round this? It's like, nope, it's 0.6. Everything is divisible by 0.6.
Yep.
So I'm okay with this. I think AC 20s having one extra shot doesn't break the bank, at least with all the other playtest rules that we've been seeing. So yeah, it also makes taking precision a little bit feel better. Like I get 3 shots with AC 20. I get 6 shots with AC 10.
Yeah, it's never a fun time when you have to round down.
I know. I agree with that so much. And then the last one is acid missiles, which I know they're adding to the BMM, but also they don't tell you what they do here.
Yeah.
So again, you have to have the tactical operations book to use them in this playtest for what they're going to be putting in the BMM. It would have been nice if for those specific ones that they're adding from tactical ops to also have the rules for what they do. It wasn't even that much. Like there is so much written about armor piercing autocannons where they could have just added another couple sentences and you would have known that an acid missile does 3 base points of damage to any units using ferrofibrous, ferrolamellar, laser reflective, or reactive armor.
Yeah. Or hardened, I think, right?
Nope. Not hardened.
Okay, then. So this is really screw anyone who took special armors except hardened, at least at this point.
Yeah, well, it says against all other armor types, acid inflict the standard 2 points of SRM damage. So I guess maybe against hardened armor, it does 2 points instead of 3 points.
2 full pips or half pips? We'll have to find out.
Who knows? That would have been great for them to include on here. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That would have been great for them to have. I mean, they got an empty half a page here. It wouldn't have even made the document any longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never used acid SRMs.
I have given them out as rewards for my campaign game, so I have seen them used, and they can be vicious.
Oh, yeah. Steve, thoughts? Mr. I take all SRM ammos.
I love SRMs. They're great. No, I haven't used acid missiles, but now that they're going to be in the BMM, I will try them.
Yeah, that's one thing. I am excited about this new stuff being added to the BMM because I like toys, I like options, and I want the BMM to be like a tournament type of book where I can just go to one book and say, if you find the equipment in there, it is legal for this, period. So
the other cool thing is this adds another option for Introtech SRM players, like my Introtech Crusader that can now have regular SRM, Inferno SRM, or even Acid SRM. Yes.
Which is good when it's fighting against non-Introtech things with special armor. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I will say we still don't have tandem charges, which is probably for the best. I'd much rather see them changed to something else, but I understand.
A Kintaro with acid SRMs, though?
Yeah.
I want to stick it in a trebuchet. That's what I want to do.
No.
With acid missiles.
Well, I think that covers everything in the playtest packet. So let's spend the next couple minutes talking about what's your overall thoughts, and what has your local group's discussion been on these?
We just got these, so our local group has not had a discussion about them.
Oh, they've had. Most of everyone is a fan. I think there's a few people that are like, no, that's what ultra autocannons are defined as. And I'm like, yeah, but like,
they were too bad to begin with.
Yeah.
If this is the change to make them better, I'm happy with this change. 8 up is hard to do. It just is. So most of the time they're only hitting with 1 anyway. Why also give a chance to totally jam it for the entire game?
I want to see them pick out every part of any lore book that has the autocannon jamming, and then determine if that is relevant to the story or just something that happened and like the author added it. And it was like,
right.
And I jammed. Oh no. When the autocannon, they could have just said it was destroyed. So I think that's the only thing. I'm overall positive on this. I think this one needs the most clarifications on interactions because gear has a lot of interactions with other things. That's just the way gear is. Like,
and there's a lot of stuff in here too. So a lot, I mean, I understand they're kind of under the gun to put a lot of these things together. This came out a little bit late. I don't know if they were rushing to get, this kind of put together and put out, but I think we are going to see a lot of these weird corner cases because we're dealing with new ammos, new armors, or not new, but you know what I mean? New.
I think that'll be good.
It's new to the BMM, so it is new to people who don't have access to these books. Yes.
Got to teach people how asset SRMs work.
And my big problem with this is that, in fact, it's missing so much necessary information. It is not a self-contained playtest. It is a playtest that to do it properly, you need to have the Battle Mech manual, this playtest package, and an advanced book. Like you have to have the tactical operations units and equipment book to be able to use this at all. And even then, they don't cover all the weird rules for it. So we're still left guessing a little bit. So it needs a little bit more clarification and it needs more detail.
Yeah. Who are some big winners for this playtest packet if these are implemented?
The Davians. Davians for sure. Those Federated Sons are back on top again.
I was going to say this is Jihad, Word of Blake, and Davian. Like
Karita for sure.
So pretty much everyone, nope, the Arons get heavy duty gyros a lot. So you know what? Everyone got a little something.
Nope. Liao lost because they have a lot of ECM, and ECM is not as effective as it used to be.
True. They get some MRMs, and I did not see any changes to stealth armor. I hope they get some changes to stealth armor. I really don't want to wish list, but 10 heat's rough. I don't know if that says it on record sheets. I think they could change that. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, so I'm going to go with Word of Blake. They get a lot of retractable blades. They get a lot of ultra autocannons. And ECM hurts, but then they at least get their C3 too. So, yeah. I think the number one winner is Word of Blake. Number 2 winner is Davian. Number 3 is Karita. Who's the loser besides Liao and Liren? Except the Gauss rifles explode less, so Lirens also get a little bit of a buff.
Yeah, I think everybody gets a little something.
Everybody gets a little something.
I think losers are going to be the people that were a real big fan of those Dark Age armors.
Clan.
Right?
Clan loses. Clan loses less because their ultra autocannons still don't jam.
Their weapons were so much more efficient to get with anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too... I am okay saying this is much more inner sphere buffing than clan buffing. I'm okay with that. Sure, their Hag 40s explode for 20 points of damage. I'm okay with that. Do we want these as is? I think for me, this is a no. These need a lot more clarifications. This needs to go back into the oven and come back out.
Because, that was my thing is potentially I would like to see them as is, but I don't know what as is because we're missing data. Like we're just missing intent. We're missing how it all works together. So if they explain that, if they fill in the gaps, I think everything as it's written would be good.
Steve, any closing thoughts? I feel like you're afraid still, like you're more nervous just due to the interactions.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of my hesitation comes from some of the wording. I want to see how some of these things work. I mean, again, I don't mind the Ultra Autocannon change. I don't mind the MRM change. I think they're probably necessary.
Oh, yeah.
But they go... there's a little bit of a dissonance in my mind, right? This is how it has always worked. So I need a minute to adjust and
Do you still have PTSD from my 2 MRM 30s coming at your face last night, and now you know they're going to hit more often? Is that what this is?
That wasn't the most fun I've ever had.
It was a lot of missiles. I think I hit you for 48 points of damage from that catapult.
I kind of lost count. I
It was
felt a lot of pips.
It was a lot.
Yeah. When Denim hits with MRMs, he hits with a lot of MRMs.
Oh yeah, you felt that in a campaign game. I remember that.
I tried to save an Urban Mech. That was a mistake. I should have let that Urban Mech die.
It was a mistake. 60 MRMs coming at you is just a bad day.
I was like, run, little Urban Mech. Run for your life. It's like, I'm running as fast as I can. I'm full of chocolate. Instantly dies.
Why is Urban Mech a small German boy?
Because.
So yeah, all in all, I like this should be fine. Should be fine.
Can't wait to playtest these. Come back in 2.5, 3 weeks and see how all this worked. Hopefully we'll come out with another version of the playtest document that answers all these questions. But until then, I'm still happy I'm seeing things. Like, I can't say I'm not thrilled to the gills just knowing that autocannon's got a little bit of a buff, which invalidates 40 years of mech review documents and sheets and what people were taking. Like, it just means that bottom 20% of all bad mechs just moved up like a whole tier. All tier lists are invalidated now. January 1st, we got to put out new tier list that says Battletech 2.0 tier list. Everything you know is wrong.
It's shaking up the meta, and I like that.
Yeah, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think really one of the only big losers are going to be people that were a super big fan of special armors, but I don't know how much that's going to come up because Hardened didn't get any sort of smack that we're aware of, which I'm a little bit surprised to see Hardened armor not getting tweaked in some way. Because
at least in the playtest, at least in one that didn't need playtest.
Right, yeah, because some of these decisions they've already made and they aren't telling us. So yeah, Hardened armor could be one of those that they're like, oh, we're not even going to playtest that. You just get to be surprised. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, but I don't dislike the changes they made to armor. I just think that, some people that are super big fans of laser reflective might be bummed they're not going to get those heat benefits anymore, right? I think it's a good change, but
now you got to take heat dissipating armor.
Yeah, it was too powerful to have that many extra things. Well, as long as you also still had heat dissipating, I understand that and I get that, and I'm fine with them separating those out.
Yeah,
totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, boys, another successful playtest document read, discussed, and argued about.
I would be curious to see if our opinions change after we get a chance to play with this a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
On that note, boys, I will see you all at Southern Assaults. Until then, through salvage, all things are possible.